Tycho Brahe was a man of spectacular contradictions. A Danish nobleman with a silver nose and a pet elk, he was also the most meticulous observer of the heavens before the telescope. He rejected the spinning Earth of Copernicus, yet his precise data on planetary motion provided the golden key for Kepler's laws. From his island observatory, Uraniborg, Tycho bridged the gap between ancient mysticism and modern science. Join us as we explore the chaotic life and celestial legacy of history's most eccentric astronomer. To understand Tycho, you must embrace the bizarre. At 20, a duel over a math formula cost him the bridge of his nose. He spent the rest of his life gluing on a metal replacement made of gold or silver. His dinner parties were equally legendary. He sat with a psychic jester named Jep who lived under the table, and a pet elk that famously loved beer. Sadly, the elk's partying led to a fatal tumble down some stairs. Science has never seen a character quite like him. On October 13, 1601, a simple dinner in Prague turned fatal. Bound by strict courtly etiquette, Tycho Brahe refused to leave the table before his host, even to relieve his bladder. He returned home in agonizing pain, suffering from a fever and delirium. 11 days later, the great astronomer was dead. Was it truly a fatal breach of manners that killed him, or something more sinister? His death remains one of science's most enduring 400-year-old mysteries. Enter Johannes Kepler, a brilliant mathematician who desperately needed Tycho's life's work to prove his own theories. But Tycho was protective, sharing only scraps of data while calling his assistant a rabid dog. Kepler responded with epic temper tantrums, fueling a volatile conflict. When Tycho suddenly died, Kepler didn't hesitate. While the family grieved, he secured the entire collection of observations. Using this stolen treasure, the most valuable data in the world, Kepler unlocked the secrets of the planets and achieved legendary fame. Born into Danish nobility in 1546, Tycho was groomed for a life in law. However, the universe had other plans. At just 14, witnessing a predicted solar eclipse ignited a lifelong passion for the stars. By 1563, while observing a conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn, he was appalled to find the era's most revered astronomical tables were wildly inaccurate. This failure of science became his personal mission, to spend his life creating an unprecedentedly accurate record of the heavens and correct the errors of the past forever. To fix the heavens, Tycho needed a fortress. In 1576, King Frederick II granted him the island of Hven and funding that eventually reached 10% of Denmark's national product. Here, he built Uraniborg, the first custom-built observatory in modern Europe. It was a self-contained scientific ecosystem with instrument workshops and its own printing press. He even added Uraniborg, an underground observatory, to shield his delicate instruments from wind and vibration. From this island, Tycho transformed astronomy into a high-precision discipline. Before the telescope, Tycho achieved the impossible, mapping the stars with an accuracy of 1 minute of arc. He didn't just build instruments, he built giants. The Great Mural Quadrant measured star altitudes with surgical precision, while the Great Equatorial Armillary served as his celestial workhorse. By correcting for atmospheric refraction, Tycho made his data the most reliable in history. His sextants and spheres didn't just observe the heavens, they redefined the limits of human sight, setting the stage for a scientific revolution. For centuries, humanity believed the heavens were perfect and eternal. Tycho Brahe proved them wrong. In 1572, he observed a new star in Cassiopeia. By proving it lacked parallax, he showed it was far beyond the moon, in the supposedly unchangeable realm of fixed stars. He struck again with the Great Comet of 1577. His measurements proved the comet moved through the celestial spheres, not beneath them. With these two discoveries, the ancient idea of solid, crystalline planetary shells was shattered forever. Tycho Brahe stood at a scientific crossroads. He rejected the ancient Ptolemaic system, but his own data presented a problem. If the Earth moved, why couldn't he detect any stellar parallax with his advanced instruments? His solution was the Tychonic model, a geo-heliocentric compromise. In this universe, the Moon and Sun revolve around a stationary Earth, while all other planets revolve around the Sun. It was observationally indistinguishable from Copernicus's model, but kept the Earth fixed, proving that Tycho was as much a diplomat of the stars as he was their master. For Tycho, the stars weren't just data, they were divine telegrams. He viewed the 1572 supernova as a sign of God, a celestial herald of the Second Coming, and a looming new order. Through apocalyptic astrology, Tycho predicted a global cleansing led by a warlord from Russia named Gog, followed by a peaceful sabbatical era, or golden age. In his eyes, the universe was a clock ticking toward its final evening, and his meticulously mapped heavens were the key to decoding humanity's final chapter. After losing favor in Denmark, Tycho moved to Prague, where he hired the brilliant Johannes Kepler. Following Tycho's death, Kepler used his mentor's invaluable observations to analyze the orbit of Mars. Because Tycho's data was so precise, Kepler could not ignore the tiny discrepancies found in perfect circular orbits. Forced to abandon millennia of belief, Kepler discovered his 3 laws of planetary motion, proving planets move in ellipses. This revolutionary groundwork for Newton's gravity would have been impossible without the precision of Tycho's data. For centuries, rumors swirled that Johannes Kepler murdered Tycho Brahe for his data. In 1991, mercury found in Tycho's mustache hairs seemed to confirm poisoning. However, a 2010 exhumation cleared Kepler's name. Advanced tests showed mercury levels were far from fatal. The true culprit? Anatomy. Tycho likely died from a burst bladder or kidney failure caused by benign prostatic hyperplasia, an enlarged prostate that prevented him from urinating after that infamous polite banquet. Case closed. Tycho Brahe was a flamboyant aristocrat and an apocalyptic mystic who saw divine messages in the stars. He built Uraniborg, the world's first true research institute, to chart the heavens with unprecedented accuracy. While his own cosmological model was eventually discredited, his true, unshakable legacy was not a theory, but a mountain of hyper-accurate data. This meticulously collected work became the essential foundation upon which Kepler and Newton would later build our modern understanding of the universe. We conclude with the poignant words of Sarah Williams, echoing the spirit of Tycho Brahe's life. He was a man who sowed so that a greater man might reap, pouring his life into the stars to pave the way for future discovery. His story is a reminder to be faithful to the work itself, rather than the mere pursuit of fame. Tycho's name lives on because he loved the stars too fondly to ever be fearful of the night. Tycho Brahe's life was a grand celestial odyssey, marked by moments that shifted the course of human history. Born into Danish nobility in 1546, his path was forever changed at just 14 years old when he witnessed a predicted solar eclipse. This celestial calling ignited a passion that would survive a brutal duel in 1566, leaving him with his famous prosthetic nose and lead to the discovery of the new star in 1572. From the construction of his research fortress Uraniborg in 1576 to his observations of the Great Comet in 1577, Tycho spent decades meticulously mapping the heavens. Though his life ended in 1601 following a fateful banquet in Prague, his journey didn't stop there. The precise data he gathered became the, quote, giant's shoulders for Johannes Kepler, ultimately allowing the next generation to unlock the true laws of our universe. Tycho Brahe didn't just observe the stars, he built the bridge to the modern cosmos.